Hello and welcome to Reflection 2. My name is Man Parris, your guide and honest host, as we give you another piece from Reflection 2, House is a Feeling. This is a very special documentation of the early years of the legendary record label Shut Up and Dance, and one of my personal favourites, the unsung pioneers of the breakbeat sound. Be prepared for the underground.
All girls, have mercy. All girls, have mercy. Have mercy. Coca-Cola bottle shape, I hit her on the place. Broke out, girl, you have the shape. Coca-Cola bottle shape, I hit her on the place. Skin out, girl, you have the shape. And the Coca-Cola bottle shape, I hit her on the place. Broke out, girl, you have the shape. Coca-Cola bottle shape, I hit her on the place. Skin out, girl. Massive! What a boy with massive! What a boy with massive!
Smiley looks back.
Well, in the house, it was always music being played. With Jamaican background, me and PJ, we're more or less same sort of upbringing, really. It's very musical. You have to go to church on Sunday, all that bullshit. I hated church. I hated every single minute of it because church was a thing that it wasn't your saying. You just had to go on this thing on a Sunday, no matter what.
PJ explains.
And you felt like you was being dragged to it as well. You know, you'd have to put on your Sunday best and, really go to town, and then you was dragged to this place. And I remember I used to go to Sunday school before the church bit. So it was like, I called it an all-dayer. That's basically what it was. Well, I used to mess about on the drums. I was in like the school sort of jazz funk band. I don't think I was particularly good, but I liked beating up the drums. And also I used to mess about on the bass as well. So I used to play bass a bit. Because my dad used to sit around singing really badly on a Sunday with his guitar, acoustic guitar. So I just got interested from that. So I wouldn't say I took it super serious, but I enjoyed it.
And I used to mess about with the trumpet a little bit and the recorder, basic things like that. But no, I didn't take it seriously or anything like that via musical instruments. No, I didn't.
Yeah, and also most Caribbean households, they had like a gramophone that played the music that you as a kid you weren't allowed to touch. And if you touched it, you're going to get some serious licks. But we all did it anyway because we had a love for music.
You weren't even allowed in the front room.
Yeah, you weren't even allowed in the room.
Where the record player was kept with the records. You weren't allowed in the front room. You'll have to be of a certain age, maybe, I don't know, 15, 16 sort of age.
Yeah.
Then you'll be allowed to go in the front room. Unsupervised. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Yes. Life is everybody rocking till the morning. I know when we come out. So last year I know. God said Ragga Twins. Yes.
Before we got into the sound system thing, we were mods and rude boys and mods, and Coventry plays a big part with that. In the history of that. So that's one of my serious connections with Coventry, with the specials and the beat and the selector. Jerry Dammond's basically his thing going on. So that's a big part of us. I think when you're at that age, you don't really know if education is working for you or not, because in most Jamaican households, education wasn't the driving force for a child. It wasn't drummed into like how it isn't with an Asian family, for instance. You was just told to go to school, don't make me parents have to come up there, you know, and embarrass them and for them to have to beat you. So school was just like a chore. Look, it was kind of viewed as that, but not to say I didn't love school. I loved every minute of school. But school wasn't a thing like, oh, if I do this, I'm going to be this special thing, you know. It wasn't seen as that because it wasn't told that.
Yeah, with me, it was more, you have to go to school. I don't want to hear any reason why you're bunking off, absence. You know, Jamaicans don't ramp with things like that. They're very serious.
All girls and all the boys in that place just hold tight. I know, so we'll come out to the kid teeth with it. Selassie, I know. Yeah.
Back then, because when we were kids, it would have been in the 70s, and in Hackney, everywhere there were sound systems, so you couldn't avoid it, you couldn't miss it, or someone you knew were building speaker boxes or had a little thing going. So you, as a child, you're just going to mimic what you see. So everyone was trying to have a little sound system. It could be just one or two speaker boxes, but yet he will call himself a sound system, even though he's just got a handful of records and a big box. So when you're little and you see that, you're like, oh, I want that. I want to do that. I want to make a big box. I want to have my own little thing going. So it was kind of thing that you just grew up seeing because everyone was doing it. Well, how it started, me, PJ, and my twin brother Daddy Earl and DJ Hype, we all went to the same school, and we must have been about 12 years old, and we went to a school dance, Clissold Park School. We didn't go to that school, but there was a school dance in another school, and a sound system was playing, and we was like, yeah, we want to do this, because that's probably the first time we saw a full sound system in a big hall and blowing down the place with bass. And we're like, yeah, we want to do that. We must have been, as I said, about 12 years old. So believe it or not, the next day or so, we started our own sound system. We got the taste for it, going up to the sound system shops where they sell the big speakers, hanging outside and looking in the window. Wow, look at that big 18-inch speaker. I wish I had money to get that. Look at that amplifier. Wow, and all that business. And then must have been like a year later, we would have been about 13 or so. We managed to get some speakers, probably stole them out of someone's mum's speakers box. They wouldn't know that the speaker's gone because the box is still there, but we would steal the speakers. That went on for ages. We kept doing that, and that's how we sort of built our sound system.
Now you have some tune make you laugh, but when you hear this one, this special is very serious. So I want to all who can dance, we shut up and leave.
We knew that you need to get wood and things like that. First of all, what we did, we broke into our local timber yard in the middle of the night, stole big sheets of chipboard, and we had like all our school friends to help us shift it out of the timber yard. The true story. And then we'll bring them home, cut them up, because we literally lived in these dances, these school dances or local community sound clashes. We lived in there. We sort of knew what the boxes should look like. So building a speaker box then, because you didn't have internet, you had no sense to go and buy a book on speaker boxes. You wouldn't even know where to go. So you did everything by trial and error. You'd build a box, you think, yeah, that's right, but then you play it, you go, no, it's not right. So you'll have to build probably 10 of the same thing to get it right.
And plus, you was obviously you had carpenter skills.
Yeah, I went down that road to be a carpenter.
And Smiley's twin brother, he had skills as an electrician. So he took care of the wiring side. Smiley took care of like the building side.
Yeah, and that's how it went. But as I said, them days, because information was very scarce on things, you had to do everything by trial and error.
When you hear this one, this special Raga twin step out. Raga twin step out. So I want to all who can dance, we shut up. Raga twin step out. Raga twin step out. Raga
the sound system going, we was what they will call a youth sound system. We was only entertaining 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds. Do you get me? So we was a youth sound system just playing music for the youth. It wasn't like making connections because the bigger sound system will just laugh at us anyway. This very snobbery mentality in Hackney, you know, there wasn't like help. Like, oh, this is a little guy's trying to do something, Bill or sound. Yeah, I'll give them some advice. No. You never got that. You know, it was really...
Because it was competitive as well, isn't it? I mean, every sound thought they was the best sound. So no one ain't helping you. So that's how it was. But also we were, like when the American hip-hop flavour first hit the UK, we were part of that wave because we were teenagers. So if you was a teenager at that time, that's what you was into. So that's how we introduced like the hip-hop element on the sound system as well.
Yeah, and I don't think any sound system did what we did. Because we brought, as PJ said, we brought the hip-hop element to the sound system thing. You know, we didn't just, DJ Hype wasn't just, well, his name was Dr. K then. He wasn't just cutting up 2 records and people standing there. We know he's cutting up 2 records while I'm rapping, PJ's rapping, and my twin brother Daddy Earl is reggae MCing. We did go to drama school. The drama school was the sound system. That was the drama school. That was our Talia Conte. That was our teaching. That was our schooling. It was, you know, breaking into empty houses and put on parties for kids, basically, as PJ said, because we were kids.
Printing up our own flyers, doing our own promotion, literally walking down the high road and posting up your flyers.
On bus stops, outside schools, giving out flyers. I remember, we're like 16 years old, this is going on. Breaking into empty houses. My brother, he's just learning how to be an electrician, putting on the electrics, you know, and we're finding a way how we're going to get in the house, and all these things were going on. We were literally still in school. So we did have a schooling. The teaching was that
life
of a sound system, because running a sound system, it's kind of it's a lifestyle. It's not something you do at the weekends. It's not that. You got to be maintaining that every day, and you're going to be practicing on what you're doing every day.
So how the name Shut Up and Dance came about is basically me and Smiley were proper into, as I mentioned before, proper into the whole hip-hop movement because it was just sweeping the country. So we heavily got into rapping. So we was into the rapping side of it, but also into the breakdancing, body popping side of it, more the body popping. So basically we started, that just led us naturally into wanting to make our own music because we were rappers, so now we wanted to make music we could rap too.
Yeah, but don't forget though, how that came about was when we had the sound system and we're playing in the blueses, Soul to Soul was a sound that we used to, Jazzy B Soul to Soul was on the road, and we used to go to hear them at the African Centre and do our flyering. And, you know, people like Trevor Nelson was there playing and Jazzy, but they would look at us like, what's these kids doing here? You know, and then anyway, we were really successful for being kids, you know. Soul to Soul put out a tune called Fair Play. And we was like, what? How can they have a tune? We have to make a tune. We have to. So that's how the drive of trying to make a tune came about. We didn't have any equipment. We didn't know what to do. We just knew we had to make a tune. So that sort of Soul to Soul sort of put the spark in it, really.
We basically won a competition to go into like a studio. So we'd never been in a studio before. It's like me, Smiley and Hype. And that's when we've had our first taste of seeing how things work and everything. So when it was time for us to start making music, we kind of knew roughly, okay, we're going to need something to record it on. We're going to need obviously a mic and blah, blah, blah. And obviously we had our turntable. So that's initially the basics of how we got going, isn't it?
Yeah, and the centerpiece was our 4-track. That's what we bought, and we just sort of learnt on the job. You know, and that's what we did. We just learnt on the job. We didn't know what we was doing. We just learnt on the job.
But I'll return a stronger man.
technology back then in the 80s was super expensive. So anything we did, but luckily me and PJ, we were working people anyway. So we'll just save up a little money and buy a 4-track and save up a little money and buy a sampler. But it will take a while to get these things. But eventually, like always, we always get there. And then we just got going. But as I said, I must stress, back then, equipment was very, very expensive. Very expensive.
Yeah. And there used to be like certain music shops in the West End. You'd have to go into the West End. What was the name of those shops again? There used to be a street in the West End where it had all the music shops. So one of them would sell all the latest synthesizers and one would sell all the latest audio equipment. So we used to go down there, kind of demo things to think, okay, can we work with this? And then, as you said, we'd save up and then we'd go back and buy it and just build on from there.
We was just doing demos and making demos like everyone else, But then we did a few demos, well, more than a few, and then we thought, look, we need to get this out. We need a record deal. So what we did a few tunes, send them out to the major labels and some of the, the normal indies, but they weren't getting any love for it. So we thought, nah, we think we got something here. So we thought, let's put it out. So what we did, we got the magazine, NME magazine, and just looked through it and thought, right, there's a company on there that says they press up records. We're like, right, we're going to use this company. And then we just saved up the money that the company was asking for, and we put out our first record, which was called 5678. And the title is called 5678 because we were dancers. And when we're practicing, before we do a routine or something, you say 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you get on with it. So that's why that song was called 5678, which is our very first record.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, when you think about it, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, we white labeled it. We just pressed up.
No, there was a label. There was a label on it. I would say it was like white.
It's
label.
a white label. It's a hand-drawn thing. Do you know
but
what
you
I mean?
know what I mean.
It wasn't a proper label.
It wasn't a white label, though.
The label was a hand-drawn label.
Yeah, but that's not always. It wasn't a white label. It wasn't. Because a white label, it means nothing on it. But we did have, it said who it was and what the song was.
And our telephone number.
And our telephone number. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
It's probably the best move we did.
Easily.
Just put our telephone number on the label. But anyway, long story short. We pressed up 500 records of 5678, put them in the back of PJ's car. It was a red Ford Fiesta. Was it Ford Escort, sorry. It was red. Anyway, drove up the West End with 500 records in the back and just go to the record shops and say, would you like to buy some? And they'll hear it and they go, oh, it's okay. So anyway, we gave them all the records, but they will take them on a thing called SOR, which is sell or
return.
Right. You give them whatever they want. Most shops will just take a box. So all the 500 records were more or less gone within a few days with us covering all the record shops in the West End. Because they were like key shops where all the key DJs will go.
And this is obviously the days when, record shops were thriving in the West End. There'd be like 15, 20 shops just in the West End.
And the shops in the West End were where the key DJs will go.
Yeah.
So anyway, we gave them the records, and within that day or the next day, our phone was blowing up.
Yeah.
We want more. Your tunes are all sold out. We want more. And we couldn't even press enough for the demand of 5678. And everywhere you went, you'll hear it. It was always on the radio. It was scary in some sense because we blew up overnight. We did.
Yeah, literally from the first track.
From the very first song.
On the turntable we have a new 45.
We were a rap band. We're like Hackney's answer to Public Enemy. We were seriously deep into hip hop. And we thought we was a rap band. But we were dancers. So we like to dance to fast music. So our music, our rap music was fast. You know, everything around us was all this doom, do, do, gung, do, 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 gung. You know, which is cool. We loved all of that. Beastie Boys, E-Star, Run DMC. But we thought you can't dance to this because we were dancers. So we sped up our breaks, our break beats that we used and put more breaks on top of breaks and sped it up. We still called it rap, hip-hop, but everyone was like, this ain't hip-hop. I don't know what this is. It's just our style.
Yeah, but luckily for us, they liked it. So,
but really, what we're lucky is that the rave scene started to emerge in England, and they were like, what's this song 5, 6, 7, 8? So we realized it was all the house rave lots buying our music because they, you know, it's faster music, house music, rave music, so it fit nicely. I remember a story where my younger brother used to go to all the raves, and he was like, boy, Smiley, they're playing your song, they played your song in Dungeons, which was a big club in Hackney. And I was like, what do you mean they're playing our song? I'm like, I don't want them to play my song. What do you mean they're playing my song? Because we thought we was a hip-hop band. Raves ain't supposed to be playing Shut Up and Dance. Shut Up and Dance is a hip-hop band. Yeah, you need to go to Dungeons and see this and see this. No, we're like, what? They're playing our... Because I was kind of like upset. They were looking at us like jokes kind of thing because we were a serious rap band. So we was like, why are they playing our music in a rave? But then when we went to Dungeons the following week to hear it, whoa, it just changed everything. You've seen people go off to your tunes and you're hearing it more than once through the night. Loads of DJs played 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're like, boy, I think we're onto something here. So we just continued doing what we were doing. It's fast hip-hop, us rapping, and they just had it for dinner. They really took to us.
So consider it's a pity cause it's coded. And 16 of hustling, drugs, TV, bad boys, Rome, country, web life. It's the sound, sensei, when out coke is coming in heavily. Yo, rock the house, take the money and run. Aggravated, a job well done. Now you're caught, abroad to justice. Neighborhood, the WAP scheme said gonna crush this crime. In my life, I ain't done, but now I'm worried. I'm watching the little one. Hip hop is my aim to make money. As my partner Jay said, it ain't funny.
£5, £6, £7, £8, £10 to get in, £20 to get in, and then Lamborghini. So it came, you know. But if you check it, all our songs were rap songs, but we thought, let's put an instrumental on the other side. Like if you listen to Lamborghini, Chain Soon Comes on the other side, which is a rap tune. If you listen to £10 to get in, on the other side, you got Rat's My Occupation. You know, they're all rap tunes, but the house buds or the rave lots just loved what we were doing. They really did.
like, all of our stuff sold thousands, but what it was, back in the day, you had the chart record shops and then you had the specialist record shops. Our stuff sold in the specialist shops. So we didn't necessarily get the barcode sales going through. But if it went by sales, all of our stuff would have went top 20, top 10, everything.
So you think that Lamborghini sold a few thousand or maybe 10? No. We sold nearly 50,000 copies of Lamborghini. And with Green Man and So Forth and all these songs. You know, we were outselling the majors, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so if you look back at like all the dance charts at the time, all of our stuff was always number one, whether it be an album or the singles.
Because if you want to be in the top 10 of the UK charts or top 20, your tunes have to be sold in things like Woolworths. You have to be sold in Woolworths. It'll have to be sold in like HMV, Our Price, those sort of shops. But people who like Shut Up and Dance or dancing music didn't go to Woolworths and buy records. You went to your normal record shop, wouldn't you?
Basically, we were ahead of our time. And the UK, the music industry, weren't up on what sampling was. So we were making tracks, trying to clear these samples through the record labels, and basically they didn't know what they were doing. That's basically what happened. So when we got to a point where we were so big, and then, you know, even other people were coming out and sampling, they were like, okay, this is getting way out of hand, we're going to have to do something. So they called us in, as in, you know, naughty boys, you shouldn't be doing this. We never got sued, But basically, you know, things got halted. That's the only way I can put it.
Yeah, but we never got sued.
But we never got sued.
We definitely was out of our depth, but not really, because we were young and fearless, you know. And what helped us, what drove us really, was the sound system mentality, the clashing mentality. You know, we had this us against the world mentality, and it worked. You know, we wasn't over our heads, because remember, this went on for years. You know, it wasn't like we were one-hit wonders, but we were bigger than we thought we were. That's definitely was.
Yeah.
That was.
I remember we come from a background of no legal training or anything like that. And there was no, lawyers in my family or anything. So we literally, just like with the sound system days, we just learned as we went along. So we were learning as we went along while this thing was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more successful.
And then when Lamborghini blew up, we thought, well, what we're going to do, we need to sign some acts, because we can't just be everything we put out is going to be shut up and dance. Because remember, Shut Up and Dance is the name of the act and the label. So we thought, right, we got to sign some acts. So we knew the Demon and Flinty before. They were never called the Ragga Twins. There was just Demon and Flinty, two brothers. We sampled them on the intro for Lamborghini. So I went to see D-Man to get permission from a Unity sound system tape where D-Man, is saying something about the acid movement that was going on at the time. So then he said, yeah, I'd like to do some of that stuff that you lot are doing. And then we signed them. And then the first song we did with them was Hooligan 69, and that just took over the world. It took over everything.
Yeah. Changed the scene, changed the game.
Changed everything.
Everything. With us, we both have got this in common, where we like all types of music, and it's kind of weird like that, because two black guys growing up in Hackney, there wasn't a lot of people like that. You tended to like reggae, or you liked soul, or you liked hip hop, but we liked it all. We liked techno, we liked rap, we liked house. So when it came to making music, we were just being creative, trying to try different things and trying to put all the flavors of things we like into one big pot. So that's kind of how our sound came about. It just had elements of everything we like about music, and we just experiment and then try and put it together in a way that it's nice. We didn't just experiment for experiment's sake, because then you just got a bag of noise. We always try to, try things out and go, yeah, this could work. That sound with that sound could work. Same like how we introduced the whole reggae element to dance music. Because before we was doing that, I can't say anyone weren't doing it, but there weren't a lot of people doing it. But again, that came about from our love of reggae. So
and if they were doing reggae, introducing reggae with dance music, it wasn't done on the way we were doing it, because we used hardcore reggae. It wasn't some sort of lightweight Bob Marley sort of vibe to a dance beat. It would be proper hardcore reggae. We went that route.
DJ Frankie Bones explains how he met PJ and Smiley at the first UK legal raves, Amnesia House, Coventry.
I did feel very influenced because PJ and Smiley from Shut Up and Dance. Now, if you remember the album cover they had out at that time, it was Dance Before the Police Come, and it's PJ and Smiley, two big yardie dudes with swords on the cover. And the album had tracks like 10 pounds to get in, 20 pounds to get in. And, it was a lot of raga, a lot of real like hard Brixton type of yardie type of raga, I guess then you could call it raga techno. When I met PJ and Smiley, it was like, I already was like, those guys were my hero, but I didn't realize it was the same thing. When they met me, they felt the same way. So the camaraderie, like, of, meeting somebody that you respect and they even respect you even more. Yeah, I did hang out that night because I remember Nicolette did Single Minded People. She was signed to their label. And yeah, I definitely hung out. Mickey Linus always took good care of me. And it was always like, this is Frankie Bones introducing me to everybody and making me feel like a part of a family.
Single-minded people, they can always find a way. 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 Single-minded people, they can always find a way.
Smiley looks back.
We did do a lot of PAs, but we did turn down a lot of PAs. Because we used to be like, look, we can't be on the road all the time. Who's going to manage the label? Who's going to be putting out? Who's going to work on the next Ragga Twins album or the next Nicolette or the next Peter Bouncer single and so forth? So we did do a few PAs and then we kind of just stopped. I think the bigger the label got, the less you saw of Shut Up and Dance, the act. So what we will do when the Ragga Twins, so it sort of helped us really that the Ragga Twins blew up quickly, because that stopped us from going out, from doing gigs and PAs. We kind of stopped. Well, it was kind of like, when we did it, we knew that we had something special, but you just still go through the normal channels, you put it out, give it to the DJs and blah, blah, blah. But we gave it to the DJs, and this thing just blew the hell up. It really just blew up big time. I mean, it was just like, wow. Everyone and their mum wanted this song. It was just one of them things that it was like fate.
Yeah, I remember we were in the Sun newspaper as well at the time. Yeah. In the, they had like a music column, Bazaar, whatever it was called. And, the build up to this tune was just phenomenal.
I don't know, you couldn't plan this, you couldn't buy the publicity we were getting, because obviously everyone knows about the sample situation in the song where we took Mark Cohen's melody and changed the words to Walking in Memphis to Raving I'm Raving, changed the words up and that. So with all that publicity going on, you couldn't pay for this. You couldn't buy this sort of publicity. And that's what obviously helped drive the tune to be a #1 single.
Put on my raving shoes and I boarded the plane. Touchdown. in the middle of the pouring rain.
Well, all what happened really, we was wanting to put the song out. Warner Brothers put an injunction on it that you can't press up this record, you cannot release it. So, you know, the record's basically banned. And we're like, look, and the whole country's screaming for this record. Warner Brothers are going, no, 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 no. And then Music Week, the music magazine, did a big thing on the front cover about Warner Brothers not letting Shut Up and Dance put out this song called Raving I'm Raving. So that put pressure on Warner Brothers because it makes, you know, it's like a David and Goliath type thing. You know, it made them look bad, basically, not letting us put out the record. So, cut a long story short, they let us put out the record, but we weren't allowed to press any more that we had pressed. I think we pressed about 80,000 or something like that. And they went in like a couple days, the 80,000 copies, and it went straight to number one. The midweek was number one on the Thursday, and on the Sunday, it dropped to number two because we had no more records to sell. So if we were allowed to press, it would have been number one for probably a month.
Still be number one.
Probably a month, it would have been number one.
I'm raving, I'm raving till the sweat just falls out of me. I'm raving, but do I really feel the way I feel?
Everyone can see, even Stevie Wonder can see, we were the biggest thing since sliced bread in this country. There's no doubt about that. Anyone could tell you that. And we never got any front covers.
So when we was doing this music thing and we weren't getting things, we just soldiered on anyway because that's our mindset. We don't allow that to stop us. Do you know what I mean? With me, I had a proper job before I got into music, and so did Smiley. So when I went into the music thing, my mum really didn't understand it at first because I'm leaving this nice stable job to do this thing on my own. But, you know, once we were up and running, she gave us full support. So I remember we always got approached by the major record labels wanting to sign us up and stuff. But when we broke it down and we looked at the units we were selling compared to what they were offering us, we were like, well, what's the point? We're doing all right as it is. Plus, we knew we'd lose creative control. The first thing they were going to do is try and push you that way and push you this way, because this is what major labels do. They go for the biggest geographic to get the most sales, but we just wanted to keep making music that we could experiment with and be happy with. So that's why we never did any deals. drug scene, crazy enough, definitely brought, in London anyway, it brought people together. Because growing up when we did, if you was a black kid, you didn't really rave really with white kids. You went to school with them, but come the weekend, you're going different places. But when the drugs thing came along, everyone sort of just got together. You go in a rave, you see black, white, all sorts, just mingling. And that was definitely an eye-opener.
Yeah, because we were when Shut Up and Dance blew up and the whole rave scene blew up, we would have been about 20 years old, 21 years old. And all my life, I've never partied. The only person I partied who was white was DJ Hype, Docs K. There were, everywhere we went, there was no white people there. White people didn't go where black people went to party, and black people didn't go to where white people went to party. Because white people just usually go to so-called Sharon and Tracy ritzy clubs and go to pubs and get pissed and have a fight. That was their thing. And black people will go to their clubs and party all night and then go to a blues afterwards. And we were the proper ravers, black people. We are, because we will party all night. White people didn't party all night. They didn't even know what that was. They'll be what? They'll party till 2 o'clock, have a fight at 2:30 and go home and have a curry or pizza or have a kebab, and that was it. But us, we'll be partying all night until 8 in the morning. And that was just an everyday thing. That went on from the 70s up until all through the 80s. So as PJ said, it definitely brought people together, and it brought the white people to see how black people partied. This is how we partied, but not minus the drugs though, and the music that was being played. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Dance music historians seem to forget about the real pioneers, the individuals who broke the mold and invented new sounds and ways of doing things with music. Shut Up and Dance were one of the foundations of the hardcore sound that went on to evolve into jungle, drum and bass music.
Keep jumping, you bastards! Keep jumping, you bastards!
Coca-Cola bottle shape, I hit around the place. Broke out, girl, you have this shape. Coca-Cola bottle shape, I hit around the place. Skin out, girl, you have this shape. And the Coca-Cola bottle shape, I hit around the place. Broke out, girl, you have this shape. Coca-Cola bottle shape, I hit around the place. Skin out, girl.
Voice over by Man Parris. Sound recorded by PJ and Smiley at home. Edited by Phil Noisy B Evans. Audio trained assistant KD and Roman Dowling. Written, directed and produced by Adrian Dowling, and what a terrific guy he is. All music produced and owned by Shut Up and Dance. This is a Daylight Robbery production.